What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? You know how we get down. You either get right or you get left, and you're right in the building with your boy, the historian. We got a good show packed for you tonight. Hey, sit back, relax. We got you covered, and we got a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. So we got the magnificent BirdCage crew in the building, and we might do a little something with the fans tonight. So sit back, relax. We got you covered, man. Let's pay some bills.
Okay, y'all, this is it.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? As I said before, you either get right or you get left, and you're getting right. You're in the building with your boy, the historian. We got some things that we're going to do tonight. But before we get started, if you're just getting in here, please hit that like and subscribe button on the way in. It's the lifeline of this show. Shout out to our guy, Larry Dixon of the Dixon Way. He's doing his thing. Hey, gotta support the Braves, the other home team that's like our country cousins. If once you get done with this show right here with us tonight, Larry will still be on calling the Braves game as he always does. The Dream, the Falcons, the Dogs, and even his wife stinking lousy, stinking Gators. Shout out to Miss Dixon. Appreciate y'all, man. Wanted to make sure I gave a quick plug. He's always giving plugs to the BirdCage LLC and many other shows. But man, we got to get to it, man. There's so many things that have happened this week. The first thing that we got to talk about is money. Last week, we kind of hinted that Drake could possibly be getting paid, but the Falcons didn't wait. They made sure they got it before the price went up. The next thing is, at this point, you got to just look at the fact that this man is in the vaults counting his money at this point. $141 million deal, $100 million guaranteed. And you have 41 mil that you have to get, possibly with incentives. But man, when you sit back and you think about it, Drake is really in a hell of a place right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hell of a place when you talk about being able to get this money. There were some people who said he wasn't going to get paid, but you know what? He's paid. He's got his bread. He's in a position now where he can just focus on football. The next player that really needs to get paid outside of Drake, want to say congratulations on that. It's got to be Bijan Robinson. I'm not going to spend too much time on talking about what happened with Drake because we had a pop-up show where we spent time talking about that earlier this week. But we want to make sure that we do acknowledge the fact that Ian Cunningham is smart. He already saw that wide receivers are getting ready to go up. So before they could get to a place to where it was going to go up, lock in Drake. He was the third highest paid receiver. Now it's the fourth, because of the cat from Green Bay. So when you really look at everything and we talk about Drake and how his production has been with Atlanta, Drake has been one of the most productive people that we've had. And when you talk about it, within the 4 years that he has been here, and you're talking about all of the numbers that he's had, and it's just amazing for a guy to even play hurt and do what he's done. He's got 3,961 yards. I'll go ahead and bring this up for you, because if you don't believe me, I'm going to make sure that I make a believer out of you when you talk about Drake London at this point. And when we sit back and we really examine his body of work, there's some things that still need to be fixed. I'm not going to sit here and act like Drake is one of these guys that everything is perfect, everything is on this point. No, Drake has some things that he needs to fix. That's just what it is. But according to Pro Football Reference, another website that we actually trust with stats and numbers, ladies and gentlemen, do apologize about that. When you really look at it, Drake has played in 62 games and has had 309 receptions in his career and so far in Atlanta with 3,961 yards with 22 touchdowns. So when you really look at it, he's averaging 13 yards a catch, and he's one of these guys that has won ball games for this team. He set us up to win ball games. Go back to the Philadelphia Eagles game where Drake actually ended up catching the game-winning touchdown, coming through in the clutch as he was supposed to. So when you look at Drake London, he's one of these guys that he's worth the money. Some people are like, well, he's not this, he's not that. Okay, Drake handles things in a different manner. If I got to compare him to somebody, he's a big body receiver who's doing the damn thing at this point. And you're looking at the fact that he's earned his money. The next person that's going to earn their money is going to be Bijan Robinson. For a guy that came here that he perfected his blocking, I got to give Bijan his credit, because when you look at, he struggled with blocking when he first got here. Most people don't want to say that. He ain't never struggled with blocking. He never did this. No, Bijan struggled with blocking, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing that he did, he worked at it in the offseason and he perfected it. And he's gotten better at it. He's a hell of a receiver, route runner. That's why, and like I said, my comp to him when he came out of college, everybody wanted to say LT. I could see a little bit of LT, but it was more of a Thurman Thomas. That's a guy that gets forgotten about, a guy who was a league MVP. So again, when you look at Bijan and what he's produced, when you talk about over 2,000 yards for scrimmage, he pretty much puts up those type of numbers like that. So I'm seeing it from a whole different standpoint right now. I'm seeing it from a whole different standpoint. And the scary part about it is he's going to do nothing but get better. That is what I see with Bijan Robinson at this point. It's going to get better. We just have to be patient with what this season is going to hold and what we're going to have when it comes to this team. This ball club is definitely in a place to make a lot of adjustments and a lot of things when it comes to winning. They're quietly building something right now. And the way that you build, you got to take care of the guys who are actually putting up numbers, and not just putting up numbers, putting an impact into this ball club, whether it's defensively or whether it's offensively. You always invest into the guys that are going to be worth a damn at this point. So shout out to my guy Tyree Holland out here doing his thing or whatnot. He's quiet member in the back doing his thing. Definitely appreciate that. Man, I'm just ready to see what this season is going to look like, because we have to take everything off the grass and put it onto the field. I'm sorry, off the paper and put it onto the grass. You have to put this ball club in a position where they can succeed because of the talent that has been pulled in from free agency, that's been drafted, and you got a lot of young guys that got time last year. So you're bringing, and then you're also bringing in guys who have already big time game experience in some ball clubs. So when we're sitting here thinking about it, we just have to be patient with this, because again, a lot of us want to win now. It's almost been a decade since we've been to the playoffs. Haven't been back since 2017. Have not been back since 2017. And we have to get back. This would be an utter crime if we don't get back to the playoffs with this type of talent that we have offensively, and then the type of defense that we have. Because if you think about it, Jeff Ulbrich's not going to be here too much longer, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to want to venture out on his own and become a head coach. Now, the question is, how long does he stay in Atlanta? Because this is year number 2. Does he leave after year 2, or does he wait and leave after year 3 just to wait to see what offers are going to be out there? Because you don't want to put this man in a position to where he's going to fail, because he had experience as an interim coach. But you know what? we're going to wait to get to the Ulbrich situation because we've got a topic talking about that, but I got to get back to taking care of these guys. Ian Cunningham has been very intelligent on how he's been taking care of this ball club, period. I got to give it to him. Getting rid of players that don't need to be here, bringing in players that could make an impact for this ball club. But we have to see what's going to be next. So getting to it, I'm just at this point where, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to see that the Falcons are really taking this serious about building this roster, about building this ball club. And the way that it starts is just like you see in the picture. Bijan getting paid and us being in a situation where we can win. Here's something else we got to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I guess it's telling me how we can do it. We've got JPJ back in the gym, on the grind, doing the damn thing. Had a video of him working out the other day with pass rush specialist. He's going to have to get it. He's going to have to remain getting into shape. He's going to have to get into game shape because he's going to be out for a little bit. They haven't said exactly, but again, we know Roger Goodell. We already know what he's going to bring to the table. We know that he's going to at least miss. I got 6 to 8 games. Some people have 4 to 6 games, but I got 6 to 8. We might get lucky and he might only get 3, but we know he's going to sit and at some point he's going to return, but he's got to get back into playing shape because again, he's going to be rusty. We don't know if he's going to play in the preseason or can he play in the preseason? Is Roger Goodell going to put him in a position to where the regular season, he's going to be able to play in the preseason, but he's going to miss regular season games? We have to see. We have to see because right now, nothing is guaranteed. But now that his case is cleared up, let's see what happens when he deals with the judge, the jury, and the executioner of a Roger Goodell at this point. So I'm looking at it from a safe standpoint with this team with Roger Goodell. And I really believe that Goodell is really going to make an example. I hate to say that, but I think he might make an example. But even if he does not make an example and hold him out for the whole year, we got to make sure that we get the best out of him. But we also got some other young guys that are coming in and some veterans that are here that we've got to get rolling because it's better to have a rotation of a whole bunch of pit bulls in the litter opposed to just having one pit bull in the litter and everybody else are just Labrador retrievers. No disrespect to the labs for my dog lovers out there. They're very highly intelligent and they know how to go fetch, but we want attack dogs. I want Dobermans. I want pits. I want Cane Corsos. You know, I just look at it from that standpoint of you got to have hunters. JPJ is a hunter. Jalen Walker is a hunter. Channing Tindall is a hunter. You still have a lot of guys that are going to contribute to this. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is Mr. Tua. I'm waiting for my guys to get in here because we're going to talk a little bit about Ulbrich and, you know, a little bit more about a few things, but I'm just trying to get some of the stuff out of pretty much little minor things out of the way. But one of the biggest things that we're going to talk about is Tua Tagovailoa at this point. What's going on? What's going on, Nando? Appreciate you coming through. Really looking at it from this standpoint when it comes to Tua. Tua is a guy that's coming in here looking for a second chance at this point. Now, this is what we're going to put out here, and this is what's out here for Tua. It's clear that he still wants, and this is per bloggingdirty.com if you want to check that out. This was out here, and it's also on a couple of other sites. It's clear that he still has what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the league, but he chose to sign for $1.3 million and compete with Michael Penix Jr. for a quarterback one spot. Now, I'll break this down. The reason why he chose in this situation is you got a guy coming off an injury. You literally haven't been a bad quarterback. You've actually had some success down in Miami, even with all the mess that's been around you and with and pretty much with the bad offensive line that you've had. Now, you see that it's a better situation with not, I wouldn't say too much better because we got to see what the pass pro looks like. But when you look at it, he would have a better chance to be able to get plays off and be able to win ball games with our offensive line. And honestly, I still want Penix. I'm not going to lie to you. I want Penix to be the guy. But at this point here, this is why he chose it. You know, you can say that the most difficult road is to reestablishing yourself, but here's the thing. You're reestablishing yourself in a city and in a town that has been starving for a winner for years. And not just any kind of winner. You're looking at a team that's been deficient of winning, period. But when you look at Tua at this point, Tua's stepping in to a situation where it's not much of a lot that he has to deal with coming in here. Yeah, Penix was the number 1 pick, but he's coming off injury. They're still going to handle him with kid gloves, and they're going to put him in there. But why wouldn't you come here? There's not really great depth at the backup spot just yet. Jack Strand still has to prove himself. Trevor Siemian is here. But at the same time, you have to look all the way around, period. He's 28 years old. He's not even 30 yet. So he's on a 1-year deal. And if he does ball out, he's going to end up being a guy that you can sit back and put in a situation to where they succeed. And when you sit back and you look at what Tua's bringing to the table, he just wanted the opportunity to come here to compete in this quarterback room. And it's a fresh start for him. And it is really what it is, like he said in the press conference. And I look at that as a small situation that really isn't that big of a deal, because right now we don't have shoulder pads and helmets on right now. It's mainly a lot of him throwing against the air right now and possibly against a defensive back in 7-on-7s. But we will find out what's going to happen and how much of a dedication that he has to this team when the lights come up and we get to that point to where he's got to perform. Welcome into the stage right now. We got K-Dub in the building. What's good, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Glad to be in the building. Sorry, had some things to take care of, BirdCage family, but good to be in the building with the historian and ready to get into these topics. But yeah, I heard you talking about the Tua situation. Like I said, it's a great situation to be in, a chance to become a starter. So if I was him, I would have chose Atlanta too, not too far from where he has a home in Miami, because in Miami and Atlanta is a cheap flight back and forth. So I think it's a good environment for him, and it pushes Penix to be the best that he can be, because it's in our best interest to get Penix up to speed, in my opinion, because he's a cheaper option. So I think he's a great option to push Penix, but I really don't see us paying that tag, that number that he's going to require if he does step up and play here, because of the number he's making for the Dolphins. So his agent is going to push for that same kind of number to get paid per season. I just don't see fathom that the Falcons would go that direction. But you know, anything can surprise me, and they could go that direction. So we'll see what happens. But I do believe he's brought in to help the team move further, but also to push Penix and to get him back and back to square one, because he's a cheaper option moving forward. And to see what you get out of both guys, because the draft is so loaded and deep next year that you really want to see what you have in both these guys, because it's a plethora of quarterbacks, different types of quarterbacks coming out next year that's loaded with talent. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But for us coming to Atlanta, I think it was a great opportunity for him for his location and weather-wise. And he's played in the stadium a bunch, even in his college days, also had a lot of success.
Most definitely. But you got to get to this Jeff Ulbrich situation, because it's a pretty decent interview that he had talking about the Accelerator Program. But the Accelerator Program also kind of pretells what the writing on the wall is eventually going to be, because he's going to want to be a head coach. So we got a couple of sound bites from that, and we're going to kind of break it down one by one. And then we got a few other topics. And then, like I said, we'll wrap it up tonight, because we got a few topics, but this right here can kind of sustain us for the night for a little bit. But let's get to it. This is Jeff Ulbrich with the interview that he had with a couple of members from NFL Network talking about the NFL Accelerator Program.
For you, what did you learn? Yeah, it was fantastic. We get into these silos as assistant coaches, and I think defense, and this has been an opportunity to kind of step back and take a global look at what my vision would look like, and ultimately how to create that vision and make it real. And at the end of the day, you're hopeful that this leads to an interview, and in that interview, you're that much more prepared because they've really asked questions that I've never even thought about. So from that standpoint, there's been a lot of growth.
So when you talk about Jeff Ulbrich at this point, he's been a defensive coordinator. He's been a position coach in this league. And he also had a chance to be an interim head coach, not once, but twice, once with the Falcons and once with the Jets. He has a 3-9 record as an interim, unfortunately, but I can't hold the situation with him and the Jets because it was a bad situation all the way around. I'm sorry, Ms. Carberg, respect on your end, but you even said it yourself that it was a lot of things that could have been done differently. And, that's one of our BirdCage alums. She talked about that when I went to training camp with her last year. And she was saying that they were going to miss Ulbrich because Brick brought a lot to that defense. And honestly, looking at what they are now, they have talent there, but it's not the same. And him coming into this situation in Atlanta, last year he was just working with pieces that was already here. He got a couple of good pieces with JPJ, Jalen Walker, and so forth. But if you really sit Divine Diablo, but if you look at it, he's been in a situation where he's had to adjust to pieces that were not his. In this draft, he was able to get a couple of pieces that he actually wanted. And this right here can kind of play out because he also went through looking through undrafted free agents. He's also looked at free agents that we've brought in from other ball clubs that fits what he does scheme-wise in this sense. But as he said before, he's learned a lot in that sense, and we got a few other things that we're going to put out. And K-Dub, and I'll ask you in a second, got to put this one out right here of what he talked about this program.
You obviously were also an interim head coach, so that gives you maybe a different twist on the perspective. What can you take from that experience that now you can apply as you get ready for maybe your next shot at a head coaching job?
Yeah, I really believe I've been with amazing head coaches, and they all they were excellent at keeping all the head coaching stuff off the rest of the staff, so we could be so focused on attacking offense, defense, special teams, whatever it was. So from that standpoint, I got an opportunity to see all the things that come across that desk, and in that I think there's tremendous power, in having that experience, and ultimately creating a plan for, if I got that opportunity again, what would it look like, and
so with him talking about this situation, and it's a lot of, like when they say it's smoke, there's fire. Do you believe that after this year that he's going to be gone, in your honest opinion?
I do believe he's going to be gone. He's a hot commodity, especially if we have a season where he gets the Falcons back to the playoffs. I really, truly believe he'll be leaving, and we could probably bring in a Jim Schwartz that he's familiar with, either head coach, or I believe we promote Coach Ali, but that's just my opinion. I think we need to promote Coach Ali, but he hasn't had the chance to coach all different parts of the defense. He's basically the defensive line coach, but I think he has that fire in his belly to get the job done, working on the Ulbrich. But I do believe he's going after this year. This is last year. We'll see Ulbrich, but to better, better his career and move on to bigger and better things for himself and his family. So, like I said, let's go through it though. But I do believe if he gets us to this, especially if he gets us to the playoffs and have a nice little run, he definitely will be gone.
Yeah, Jason, that could also possibly be true. He could possibly wait to get another year because you got the draft coming up. We're going to have more money this time, and you could give him more weapons, just like we can give the offense more weapons at this point and really have a chance to try to do something. But you got to also understand that if a great opportunity comes, he's not going to wait because he's pretty much paid his dues as a coach. He's paid his dues, and he's gone through hell in two organizations, with the Falcons and with the Jets. When he's given both organizations great defenses, and not just giving them great defenses, they were top defenses in the league, top 3 defenses in the league. All these defenses that he's coached have at least been number one for a period of time during the seasons that he's coached. And that is something that you cannot overlook. Now, when it comes to where he would go, it just depends on how the season is, because again, if it's not a conducive situation for him as a coach, why the hell would he go? Why the hell would he just take a job somewhere and he knows it's going to be bad? Because you only get really 3 years, maybe 4 if you're lucky, with any organization. There's no such things as patience anymore with the NFL anymore. It's a microwave league. You got to win now. Guys don't get a chance to develop, and guys don't really get a chance to really try to get their system in play. It's pretty much a microwave. It's a microwave society when it comes to coaching, the coaching carousel. If you're not winning right off the bat, they're going to get rid of you soon. So this is the other clip that we have where he was talking about the Excel program as well.
But how much do you focus on or pay attention to just making sure that you are connected to different staffs and different people, so when the time comes, you can hire the right staff?
Yeah, it's huge. Like, there's no great coach in this league or any other league that wasn't a byproduct of a really powerful, good coaching staff and roster, So it's imperative that you get surrounded with the right people in this business. There's just there's so many things that go into it from a culture standpoint, scheme standpoint, and everything else in between. So it's been a great opportunity to meet some coaches that I, otherwise wouldn't have had contact with and experience with, and there's tremendous power in that. But also creating some relationships with potential executives and future GMs, because as we all know, but it's rare, unfortunately, there's rare real alignment between coaches and GMs. And I know.
So when you look at it, I think K-Dub, he's speaking on, if he gets an opportunity to coach, he's looking at the great relationships that he's had with people. And he's also looking at the fact that some of these interns that might be in Atlanta right now could possibly be his boss to give him a job eventually. And we already know how things rotate, because you saw how quick we got rid of Terry Fontenot, unfortunately, and that was before he started to kind of heat up. But now we have Ian Cunningham in the building, which I'm grateful for, and I know everybody else is too. And you're seeing the fact that he has relationships with front office personnel. He has great relationships with the assistant coaches. What would you be surprised if he gets a head coaching job, that he gives Nate Ollie a chance to be a defensive coordinator before we would? Honestly.
I mean, that may be what his move may be. We may not get a chance and opportunity to give him that, because he's already had something in writing, or maybe not in writing, or handshake with Ali, saying like, I get an opportunity to bring you along to give you a shot at doing it. But we've seen that happen with Raheem bringing his friends along, and it didn't work out. Not saying that I don't like Coach Ali, but you have to have that in the back of his mind also, not having a guy that's called the defense before, but he's worked with you closely. We've seen it work, but we've seen it not work also. So that's a possibility. It could easily happen, because you do try to bring people from the staff that you're on to help you out and make your adjustment period next to your next destination be better for you. But we have to cross that bridge when we get there. So I feel like the Falcons have to have a contingency plan. Hopefully they do, since they do know that he's going to be leaving. But I do think that Jim Schwartz, basically combination with the head coach, would be great. But we'll see what happens. We have to cross that bridge when we get to it. But I do believe Coach Ollie's a very good and viable candidate to be the defense coordinator, either here or where Ulbrich may land. So we'll see what happens in the future.
Okay. So we already at that halfway point. We'll be right back. We got to pay some bills. We're going to talk a little bit more about Coach Ollie at this point. Not Coach Ollie, Coach Ulbrich at this point, because he's got something else that he talked about. So sit back, relax. We got you covered, man. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. The BirdCage LLC looks to do it again. We got the Falcons Steelers watch party September the 13th, 2026. What location do you say? At Dave & Buster's in Marietta, Georgia.
Now hand me about 4 or 5 little biscuits. I sure am hungry.
On the game day menu, there will be sliders, wings, fries, bottomless non-alcoholic drinks, but we also have a cash bar for those who want to get their drink on, and also we have a full-fledged menu with waiters and waitresses that are going to take your orders. Also, we have on the ones and twos DJ Swats in the building. We're going to have former ball players to come through to the party. Your ticket also registers you for a raffle giveaway. Hey, we got to hit this thing hard like we hit the Saints. Make sure you get your tickets. You don't want to miss. You know how we get down.
You either get right or you get left. Go.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you see what we got going on September 13th. Hey, you got to tap in with us. Dave and Buster's first game of the season, man. Come out with us. We definitely got a little something going. So if you're not busy, if you want to have somewhere to hang, some good food, some good music, and possibility to meet some former players or whatnot, man, tap in with us, man. September 13th. Now, let's get back to Jeff Ulbrich at this point. So the next thing that we have for Jeff Ulbrich, he talked a little bit about the defense. So this is what his words were, and we're actually going to break this down, and then we're going to talk about a few other things that's going on with this team. So let's get to it.
Look at this defense in this offseason. What are you keyed on working on especially hard this offseason?
Well, the first part was the roster and getting the necessary guys to be successful, because at the end of the day, this league is driven by players. You know, I don't have to be an ex-player to know that. That's a real thing. So getting the right players in place was the first piece. I thought Ian Cunningham did an excellent job. I thought him and his whole staff, all of my complaining and yelling, and, you know, they filtered through all of that stuff and found a truth and found the right group of guys, you know, and in that, you know, the platform's been set. Now it's an opportunity to really refine what we did last year. It was my first experience really blending multiple systems together. You know, it wasn't the Jets defense, it wasn't the Falcons from the previous year. It was a little bit of both. And in that, there were some growing pains, and it was painful at times. But I really felt like towards the end of the year, we kind of found a sweet spot between.
So when you look at what we had last year, all I can say is this defense was loaded last year, loaded. And they really exceeded expectations last year with what we brought in, because we had a lot of free agents that came in, as well as a couple of great picks that we got in the draft. And they really exceeded the expectations of what this fan base had, because we were the #1 defense in the league for majority of the year, and then the Seattle Seahawks took that over from us after we got smacked. But when you look at what Ulbrich has brought to this defense and brought to the table at this point, and what he said this year about having pieces brought in that he asked for, he's going to be able to run some things. And it really was a blended defense that he ran. He ran his system and ran Raheem's system, and now he's going to be able to run his system without any of the shackles. How much more do you think this defense is going to bring to the table this season? What's up, Quavo? We see you down there, Scoop. Shout out to our guy Scoop in the building.
And I think it's gonna be even better. Anytime you have guys in your system more than one season, you know, it's just like working at a job. The more years you're there, the more you can absorb, and the better you get at your job. So that's just like at any job. So I believe these guys in that same system, running that same system that he has, and get more familiar and comfortable in it, you'll see guys even develop and make more plays, because they know the ins and outs of the defense, like the X-Mans and the Agent Zero out there in the middle, in the linebacker spot. So, I mean, you got guys, once they play in this position, AJ can play more comfortably. Everybody can just play more comfortably in their position because they played in the defense even last year. That's like learning a new offense, same as the offense. And anytime you learn a new offense every single offseason, it's very hard for you to be successful, because you got so much different terminology and different ways of calling the plays coming in. So I think it'll be successful because he's had another year under their belt to learn and get familiar with what Ulbrich wants and what he wants to see on the field and how he wants them to play the scheme. So that's just my opinion on the situation.
I'm with you on that, Scoop. He has to figure that out. But here's the thing. We got defensive tackles, but they're going for undersized guys. And in the defense that he runs, Most of the guys have to be able to move, and I don't think they're going with just a regular heavy in the middle, which I still think we could have either used that kid Harris, but unfortunately, he's actually going to be in New Orleans, and we got to see him twice a year, unfortunately. That's the kid that's 6'8" that played at Ole Miss last year and pretty much gave Georgia all the hell that they wanted. But when you sit back and think about it, Deshaun Hand is a guy that you got to pay attention to. And Scoop, yeah, you read my mind on that. Deshaun Hand is a guy that you got to pay attention to. And I really believe that he's going to come in. He's got to really not just work his tail off. It's the fact that he's got to make an impression at this point. And the other thing I'm thinking about is when you look at making an impression, we don't have a true heavy nose tackle. Everybody is under 300, really under 315 pounds playing at that zero tech. We don't have a true zero tech. We got guys that can play the defensive tackle spot, but not that nose tackle spot as a true nose tackle. What's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of packages where guys are going to be really stunting and twisting the whole time. And it's going to be lightning fast, and it's going to be hard to catch. Now, depending on who we play against, you might have a team that wants to lean on our nose tackles and just run straight up the gut. Now, that's where our linebackers come into play. So when you really see the type of defense that we're supposed to run, we're going to be running a lot of base 4-3 defense. That's pretty much 3-4, 4-3. We're going to have a mixture of both. But with us running a true 4-3 defense, I think we're going to eat because we're going to have a NASCAR package coming off the edges where we're going to make it one-dimensional, kind of like a vice grip, K-Dub. And I'm going to pass it to you in a sec, but I'll give you this, bro. When we talk about a vice grip, it goes back to, and I'll go historic for a minute. I'm going to go back to the greatest general of all time, and it's still studied. Hannibal Barca of Carthage pretty much had the Roman Empire in a squeeze. That same vice technique that where they let you think that you're running straight ahead and they close the pocket on you was the same exact technique he used at the Battle of Cannae. And if you look at it, multiple men lost their lives in that battle because of that technique. Look at a lot of the defenses that we run with Jeff Ulbrich. He has a Hannibal type of mindset when it comes to attacking and being able to destroy an offense. We just have to figure out what that running game is going to be like because, hell, Hannibal had Rome on the ropes, but he let him go. Pretty much what happened with us last year. Had teams on the ropes, but we let them go. So that's just what I feel is going to be. That's what I feel is going to be nice, but Dorless is going to be the key on this D-line at this point. What you think?
Like I say, Dorless will be key. Everybody on that defensive line will be key. Like I said, we'll be running a rotation, but Dorless will definitely be needed on that defensive line. He made a big splash last year. I think he improves more this year. So, like I said, the linebackers will be very key in helping stop that run. Just like Nando was saying, we got a plethora of linebackers. So I think that'll be a big one of our plus spots for as depth that we have in that linebacker spot. We are hurting up that middle. So we'll see how he deploys his guys with the twists, the stunts, and the different ways he can get clever and try to manipulate the defense, the things that we don't have, but basically exploit the things we do have. So that's what I think about it. But Dorless will definitely be a big impact.
Hey, Will, and I'm with you on that. When you sit back and you look at how those battles were fought, you're exactly right. You have to do it like Marathon or you have to do it like Thermopylae, where you actually destroy your enemies once you have them on the ropes. You don't let them off the hook. Our issue is we've let guys off the hook when they figured out they can run up the middle against us. We still have had problems in the middle. We don't, like, let's be honest, K-Dub. The last time we really had a stout D tackle in the middle, I'm going to say Jonathan Babineau when we had Babs in the middle. You wasn't running on Babs like that. And even Rod Coleman, you wasn't running on him like that in the middle. So I just look at it as we're missing a big presence in the middle of the field, in my opinion. Even though we have a rotation, it still would be nice to have that, as we would say, that guy that puts his belly in a wheelbarrow and just drops it right in front of you and you can't move him. And Babs was nasty with it. Dontari Poe didn't play here that long, and he really was more of a diva in the middle. I can't
Yeah,
say
that's
Poe.
what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Poe too, but yeah.
Poe was more worried about catching touchdowns in the end zone, which I don't blame him. Get your money. But when you talk about just nasty, we really hadn't had a true nasty D tackle since Babs.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
good point, Scoop. Thank you.
But that's the key thing. I mean, we got to go so far back. We need to reverse this thing. I mean, let's get it back. Let's get it back popping like the hammer, back like Babs.
And
You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be having to go so far back to find a good, solid linebacker or a solid defensive lineman. It's crazy.
and one of the guys that we spoke on a couple of years ago, and he's been doing well in Jacksonville. You know, we talked about Chad Muma. If you weren't gonna keep a Foye Aluakon, and I used to get in arguments on the show with some former Birdcage members about Aluakon. Aluakon has been a problem since he got a chance to start, and he's not relinquished that job, even in Jacksonville. Came in and took a job. So he wasn't just tackling people from behind. The man been making plays forever. So it's just one of these things where I think our front seven really has to put us in a position to where our secondary can thrive off of turnovers. But we have to be able to get pressure. Even if you can't sack the quarterback, you got to throw off the time. And if we can't get in that backfield, all the stuff that we got in the secondary is pretty much mute at this point because they can't cover all night. So,
yeah.
But let's go ahead and get to the next topic that we got. K-Dub. Apologize about that, man. It's just been an interesting day. Let's talk about it. We got Bill Callahan. He spoke on the team and he talked about the offensive line. The thing that we got to talk about with this offensive line is this. Callahan says he was very impressed with our offensive line at this point. And when you talk about him being impressed with it, he understands that running the football has never been the problem here because we average over 4 yards a carry in Atlanta. That's not a problem. It's the pass protection that we have to improve on. That's where his speciality is going to come in. And he says he's not going to be too hands-on with the guys, K-Dub. He says he doesn't want to put too much on the young guys that are here, but he wants to kind of challenge some of the older guys as well. But he wants to keep it simple for these guys so it doesn't take away from what we're trying to build here in Atlanta. What do you think this impact could be at this point?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna trust Bill Callahan. He's one of the better ones to ever do it. So he like you say, he likes our pass blocking, but we have to encourage you guys to do better on this pass blocking because we're gonna do some passing. So we'll see how this approach that he takes if it is successful or not. But I think he needs to be a little more hands-on because some of these guys are just giving up way too many sacks, getting quarterbacks hurt. I think he's giving them more credit than they deserve. This is my opinion, but he sees them every day. Maybe he's seeing something that they've turned the corner, and he's getting more out of them than Coach Leffler did. So we'll see what happens once the season starts. But I'm very impressed by Coach Bill Callahan with his knowledge and his snuff for the game. So we'll see what happens.
And the crazy part about it is, like I said, I'm gonna try to get I got to try to get former Birdcage alumni. Well, he's not former. He's still Birdcage alumni. He's still here. I got to try to get Lincoln Kennedy back on the show because Lincoln Kennedy played for him in Oakland when he took over for John Gruden and he was an offensive coordinator. Lincoln could probably give us more of an insight on what Bill Callahan brings to the table. We're definitely going to try to have, if we can't get him on the show, possibly a soundbite where we can have it to where he can explain it to you and let you know what Bill Callahan will bring to the table as an offensive line coach. Because, I mean, you look at the list of guys that he's coached, he's been great everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been, there's no complaints when it comes to players that have played for him, even on bad teams. So I look for him to be able to build on this. And the other thing that I got him responsibility-wise, K-Dub, I got him schooling Tommy Reese. Because he was an offensive coordinator at one point for the Raiders when they were actually going to the playoffs, and he was a part of the infamous Tuck Rule game, unfortunately, where it started the Patriots dynasty. But if you look at it, his offenses were averaging over 30 points a game when he was there. So I'm looking at the fact that he could possibly, not saying take over the job, but possibly just help him understand how ebbs and flows of the game goes at this point.
It's true. I mean, like I say, he put a good staff together, so these guys got to lean on one another. He also can help Stefanski also because he has a lot of knowledge. It's not just a little bit of knowledge. So everybody can help each other out. They got to lean on each other. It's always good not to be the smartest person in the room, so you can do some learning. So let these good football minds, great football IQs match and being together and see what happens. I believe he can help some of everybody, not just Tommy Reese, but some of everybody on the staff. So that's just what I feel.
Yeah, I'm with you. I look at it like this. I'm more concerned about my OC at this point. I'm just going to be 100 with you on that. And the reason I say that is because of the inconsistencies that we went through for 2 years. And we're bringing in a guy who really has not had a good track record in the NFL. And then when he got to Alabama, he struggled with Nick Saban, with the receivers that they had in that room and some of the talent that they had. And then you look at it, okay, he helped out with Washington. I get it. I understand. But he also was replaced at Notre Dame too. So for me, I'm looking at the fact that I need somebody with some experience to kind of help put a little seasoning in the pot for him to help him get seasoned and get him a little bit better. That's the thing that I look at. And then the one thing that I'm also paying attention to, K-Dub, we got to look at the depth of the offensive line. Even though Callahan is impressed with the big birds up front, we still don't have the depth that we should have right now. If I'm making any sense with that.
Yeah, I mean, you're making a lot of sense. Like I said, Tommy Reese has to prove himself to everyone, even himself. So he has a lot of proving it to do in Atlanta because we have not had a quality offensive coordinator probably since Shanahan left. So I mean, it's going to be tough. So he has to show and prove. If not, we'll have to move on, or Stefanski. Someone has to pick up and call the plays. But I pray it works out because the city of Atlanta, and every season ticket holder, especially, is sick and tired of the BS and all the commotion and just excuses, man. I mean, we have to get it done. We have to turn that corner and get out of the doldrums and stop being one of the worst teams in the NFL and get back to some kind of respectability across the league where we were making at least the playoffs and making deep runs with Matt Ryan and his crew. But we have to get back, at least get to that and a step to where we can win a ring, get back to win in a place where we can win a ring. So we'll see what happens.
And here's the scary part. Now, Will, now we talked about this last week. I already talked about Jack Nielsen last episode we were on. I talked about Jack Nielsen. I also talked about Riley Malman, the guy that I pointed out, like I was telling you. I talked about those two playing together. And the funny part about the whole thing is this. Now you got a guy that, and here's something else, because this falls into this category as well. We got an undrafted free agent from Miami who just took over the center position in Brockmeyer. And he literally has been on the radar for a lot of people, getting a lot of praise at this point for what he's brought to the table. So here's a little something that was for Brockmeyer. This came off of Sports Illustrated for the Atlanta Falcons, SI.com, Atlanta Falcons. It says this here: players aren't wearing pads. The reps are far from live, but Brockmeyer has stepped in for Ryan Nizel. And then the Falcon veteran was pretty much present but not dressed or participating in the activities. So we don't know if he's got an injury or whatnot, but Brockmeyer has come in and he's already come in here and he's been making noise. And this is what Bill Callahan had to say about him. I'm really proud of the job he did today. And Wednesday, he had to step up and step in and take over the controls. He did a great job. He was like an air traffic controller today. And so he landed plane safely, which was great. So in other words, he's being told that he's pretty highly intelligent coming in here and taking over for a veteran that's got a ton of experience at that center spot, and you're already making an impression with possibly a future Hall of Fame coach, position coach, that's going to probably end up going into the Hall because of all the guys that he put in. And you really look at the fact that this offensive line has a young pup at center, and he's coming in doing that. That right there is promising. That is promising. And now we just got to see what the other guys are going to bring to the table. But for a young player to come in that doesn't even have beer on his breath yet, he's still got Similac around his mouth, and coming in and dominating, this right here is, whew, this is right here is getting real nasty. And
no, when they brought him in as an undrafted free agent, they thought they had an opportunity. They found a starter. I really liked him at Miami, so he's one of the guys I felt like would make this team. So he's showing improving, and I wouldn't mind him taking that spot from Newsom. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I think when they did sign him, they were very impressed by him at Miami. They couldn't believe he was there as an undrafted free agent. Really wanted him to make this team. So he's one of those guys that I had making this team, going just glancing over the guys they brought in as undrafted free agents earlier when they brought him in. Just looking at the names, that's one of the guys I felt like would make this team. And then he's making strides and making waves. So here we go.
And the thing is, like I was saying earlier this week, you got Riley Mauman that's still here. You got Jack Nelson, who really didn't play too much last year because he was hurt. And then now you bring this young guy in to go along with Chris Lindstrom, and then you got Bergeron. Matthews is still here, but he's eventually going to get replaced. And my thing is this: those three linemen that we have right now, all three of these guys that are here, I think that they're going to be the future nucleus of this offensive line. They're going to still bring in guys here. They drafted the kid from Ohio State or whatnot, Michael Inuina. They drafted him, but I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't trust him because I've watched him. I watched him lose his job at Rice, go to Ohio State, and really struggle there. And yes, Bill Callahan is a miracle worker. He possibly could bring out the best in that young man. But as of now, the three best linemen we got that are young pups, Mauman, Brockmeyer, and Jack Nelson. These are the guys that aren't starting. But I honestly see a lot of this stuff because, again, like we always say this, the critical thing that we have to figure out is how these guys are going to stay healthy. Because if anybody goes down right now, who's going to be stepping up and who's going to play where? And this is what I mean when I say the depth is not where it needs to be. And I believe that we brought in guys, but I believe we're going to bring in more depth coming next season.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, I don't see why you would take this guy. I'm not going to poo-poo the guy from Ohio State because I feel like they took him for a reason. I mean, you don't go get guys in undrafted free agents and you think they'll make the team. You don't think the guy that's drafted will make the team. So it's something they've seen in him. Maybe they feel like Bill Callahan can unlock that key to that safe. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to poo-poo the guy. I want to see what he gives moving forward, maybe in the preseason. But then I'll cast judgment later. But I want to see what he got coming from Ohio State. So we'll see what happens moving forward. But I do like Mauman. I do like Brockmeyer because, like I said, I see him making the team. So I just want an influx of young talent and young guys ready with some fire in their belly to move some of these older guys out the way that can't seem to pass block worth a dang anyway.
And it's not even me poo-pooing him, bro. My problem. I know you saying you. I know you saying you.
Right.
But I gotta make sure. No, I say you. No, I'm saying no because here's the thing. Because I got to make sure I verify that because you got listeners in here that hear stuff a certain way. So I'm making sure I verify this. Now, it's not me poo-pooing him, ladies and gentlemen. So K-Dub is saying that he's not gonna say anything about him when it comes to that. He's gonna give him an opportunity to earn criticism. That's what K-Dub is saying. For me, it's either one or two things, especially at that offensive lineman spot. You either got dog in you or you don't, period. Now, yes, you were taken in the 7th round. And honestly, for good reason, because you have the body type of a second or third rounder. He really does, size-wise. But talking to my man, Maurice Wells, shout out to Mo Wells, BirdCage alumni, former Ohio State running back who's still active with him. He's even said that he's a guy that has potential, but you question his heartbeat sometimes. And that's a former running back that's saying that. So when you got a former tailback that was good at Ohio State saying that about guys that were in the front, they know a little something. And when you question the heartbeat, that right there makes you think like, okay, you have the physical tools, but what can we get when it comes to this heartbeat? You either got it or you don't. Can somebody put some confidence in you to where you believe in your abilities at that point? And when you talk about the fact that he lost his job at Rice to a guy that is probably selling insurance at this point right now, goes to Ohio State and struggles to stay on the field, it's just red flags for me. Now, I'm going to give him a shot, but I got to point out the obvious. And a lot of people don't watch college football like we do. We know this because there's more fandom in that sense than looking at what these kids can do and evaluating them. But let's be real. He's got the physical traits to be a good player. I'm not taking that away. It's the fact that when you're getting your ass kicked in those trenches, you give up a sack or you get bullied or bull rushed, are you going to get up and are you going to keep fighting or are you going to quit because somebody punched you in the mouth? That's the traits that I look at, because if you're going to get beat, everybody gets beat in this game if you play long enough. But if you can't put yourself in a spot to where all right, you got me on this one, I got something for you on this next one. If you don't have that type of mindset, I don't want you blocking for the running backs or the quarterbacks, because you eventually going to get somebody hurt. We saw that with Elijah Wilkinson last year. So I would love to see more.
No, I got you. I mean, I'm just hoping they wouldn't take the guy just because of his size. I mean, it's a lot of guys with size. I mean, hopefully they didn't take a damn bust. But that's what I mean. The way you speaking on, he's gonna be a bust. So
Nope.
you see what happens.
I said I'm gonna give him a 10.
I'm just saying. I mean, the way it's like you said, people hear it or they interpret it differently. This is how I interpret it. It sounds like they took a bust.
But here's
That's
the
what it
thing,
sounds
though.
like.
No, because if I said he was going to be a bust, I said he's the qualities of a bust. I would have just flat out said that. That's
No, I'm
me
just saying. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
But
Coming
no,
through.
because here's the thing.
through
When you see the breakdowns that I do for these players, when I do the breakdowns and I show them up here, I give good traits and I give bad traits. That is not me sitting here saying that he's going to be a bust, but he has more negative traits than he has positive traits, and that's how the game is evaluated. When you hear scouting reports, it's pretty much either this guy's doing this, or not. That is how scouts do it.
No. I'm not saying I know how a scout works. I'm saying what your terminology. You say only thing is positive is that the man has size to be great. That's it.
Size
but
and physical
he does a lot of things terrible. So
yes.
Then he doesn't have a heart. Then he has to have a heartbeat. So I'm like, that sounds like bust written all over him. That's what I'm saying. But I pray he's not a bust. I hope he comes in and give us serviceable minutes, maybe a quality second stringer, help the rotation, something of that nature. But I pray it's not a bust, but we'll see what happens. It doesn't sound like he's going to come in and move the needle in. But that's just from your evaluation for them getting. That's all.
Not just me. Because if you look at the draft report and you pull up his numbers, they talk about it's some good things they have on there, but there are a lot of red flags. Now, Bill Callahan might be the guy to get that out of him, but you are what you are, and you pretty much are what you have on that tape. It's just what it is. It's no feelings involved with that. It's just, hey, what's on that tape is your resume, and your resume is who you are. What's going on, man, Mike? Appreciate you coming through, stopping in. Thank you, sir. And if you really look at it, the best conference to get offensive linemen is truly the Big Ten. Defensive linemen, SEC all day. And then everything else falls afterwards. I'm good with taking anything out of the Big Ten, but if I'm going to take something out of the Big Ten, I'd like to see more players that we can get from Iowa, Iowa State. You know, these schools where that weather gets nasty at a certain time of year. Hey, they are tough. Hey, what they call them? Hey, Bell Thorn boys that they call in the Midwest. I would love to get anything up out of there. Nebraska too, still. So, oh boy. All right, so we're gonna do a quick little session. We're gonna let the fans in for a sec, let them talk a little bit about the show tonight, what they expect, what we covered tonight. We talked about Drake getting money, talked about Tua pretty much saying why he came to Atlanta, and then you talk about the offensive line, defensive line, and really what the expectations are. So I dropped the link in the chat. I'm getting ready to drop it on X as well. So if you want to come in here, make sure your camera's on. Y'all can pop in, say what's up, and just talk about what's happening. We got about 10, 15 minutes we'll give you, and we'll see how that goes. Make sure that you're in a place where you're actually decent, because I'm not pulling you up because I see you back there washing your hands, Will. We ain't doing that today. Get in a place that's situated, because you've come in here brushing your teeth, getting ready for a date. You done did it all, big dog.
Yeah, he done did it all.
K-Dub, I wouldn't be surprised if that joker done took a shower on the show while we done been on this show before with the phone. It don't surprise me. That's how I got Pig Slip Will. Hey, man, Will, welcome, my guy. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas, man? What's going on? What's up, man?
Will?
Hey, I like what we did this all season, man. I agree with y'all, Ryan and K Dub, man. We got to be better in these trenches, bro. From the offensive line to defensive line, because we have a tough schedule this year, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is one of the toughest schedules we ever had since 2012. So what I'm saying is, for us to be successful, like you say, depth is going to be key. Being healthy and keeping Bijan Robinson fresh. We can't run him to the ground. We have to be balanced on offense and on quarterback position. We have to game manage the games, because certain teams they're going to game plan us, so we have to go with the hot hand. Like on different weeks, we have to have a different matchup on who's going to get the ball. And on defense, we're going to have to stop the run this all season. Stop the run, get to the quarterback, and, get off the field on third downs and get turnovers. Like I said, I'm not worried about our defense so much, but we have to stay consistent, and we have to, close game out kind of early. We can't keep teams in games. We can't have these heartbreakers and stuff like that. But like you said, last season it was bad quarterback play. Fortunately, it was Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris. But for us moving forward, man, that right tackle, I got a question with Jawan Taylor, because he has to deal with T.J. Watt. And we got Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens. I mean, we got a tough schedule this year. So I ain't trying to get too ahead, man. But I'm just saying, man, we got to be consistent, bro. For real, consistent, healthy, and game plan, bro. So
What's your
you know what I'm saying?
What's your question about Jawad Taylor, man?
Jawan Taylor, it just I just want to see how he do against competition with the big dogs. Troy Henderson, the dude he got from Cincinnati Bengals, he went to Baltimore Ravens. I just want to see how he do in the pass protection and the run game. I ain't seen so much tape on him, but he came from Kansas. I don't know if he was a starter or not, but I just want to see, is he going to be a next man step up for that right tackle position? Because Caleb McGregor was a big blow for us when he announced he retired because that knee injury.
So the thing about Taylor is this: he's got a reputation of holding. Everybody know that. Jacksonville, Coach McGriff talked about it when he came in here. Like I said, he's around the Jags. They've talked about it. Big Leon Cersei, when I met him at shout out to Miss Lynn Jones. Prayers up for Miss Lynn Jones, BirdCage alum. She just lost her husband the other day. Just wanted to make sure. Wednesday.
So my condolence.
Yeah, she lost her husband. Auntie, we got you over here. Prayers, love. We definitely appreciate the opportunity that you let the Birdcage come into your event and really just support you, and you support us, and we got you at this difficult time. So shout out to Miss Jones. She's watching out there in Ormond Beach, Florida right now, just kind of chilling out, taking some solace. But we got you, Auntie. But like Big Leon Cersei said, who used to play for the Steelers and the Jags, he was a former first-round pick at the tackle spot. And I asked him a little bit about Jawan Taylor, because we got him, and he was saying Jawan has the tools to be a good lineman, but the problem is he holds. And when when his fundamentals go a little aside, it puts him in a bad spot. But it's not the fact that he's not tough enough and he's not physical enough, because they had good comments to say about him as a run blocker. So the question is, how does his pass blocking adapt? And he's going to be in a system with Bill Callahan, and how can they bring that out of him? Because I think that he's going to be the guy that's going to start right off the bat at that tackle spot because of the money they paid him. But don't be surprised if you don't see a Riley Malman or a Jack Nelson get an opportunity this year too, if things go awry.
Mm-hmm.
That answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, that's my question, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope, this season we beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, bro, because we always lose to them, and we on the road. So I just pray we can get that week 1 and get that bad taste out out that we had got last season.
Well, the Steelers been kicking our ass since 1966.
Well, damn, that was 60 years ago. Damn,
I mean,
man.
we got wins against them, but they've been beating us down.
Yeah, they outmatch us every time,
country.
man.
Yeah, we don't have a winning record against the Steelers. But
I mean, that will make me feel good, man, to get out in our belt, because like you say, Ryan, we have to get these wins early in the season. I know we got a long season, we could lose games, but I expect to lose to teams like Baltimore and Chicago, because that's the playoff team that we want to see in the playoffs. But I just want us to be consistent, man. And like I said, last season we could have won games. It just, unfortunately, we had bad coaching and bad adjustments on Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson and special teams. But that was the 3 phases of the game.
So just think about this, K-Dub and Will. The first 3 games of the season, so the first 4 games of the season, this is just the first 4. Matter of fact, hell, I'll give you the first 7 games of this season, well, first 8 games of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, the Panthers, the Packers, the Saints, the Ravens, the Bears, the 49ers, and then you got the Bucks. Those are the first 8 games of the seasons, fellas. So when you look at that, you're looking at 1 game at a time. I'm not giving a prediction for those games. I'm not giving a prediction for those games, K-Dub. I know better.
That's it. 1 game at a time. This schedule is not conducive to the record we had last year, but we're going to find out.
The first half, K-Dub, the first half of this season, Lord, we got a gauntlet for the first 8 games.
Yes, and we want to take our bye week into like a week 11 like they did us last season. So they put me through a test.
And it gets better
by week 6.
Hey, it gets better. Think about this, man. And it goes from that to, okay, you might get a win with the Bengals, but that's not guaranteed because
you got Jamar chasing them
because they got to exactly. And then you have the Kansas City Chiefs. We go back to Minnesota, fellas. We got to get the Vikings to come to us. Yep. We got to go back to Minnesota again.
Yep.
And then you get Detroit. Then you get Cleveland. And then you get the Commanders. Then you get the Bucks again. Then you got the Aints, the Panthers. That is the schedule that we got this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Stefanski is pretty much in a situation where all you can do at this point is, like Kevin said, you see Kevin didn't come in here and run his mouth, correct?
Yeah. I see he ain't doing that.
Kevin came in here humble as hell. I'm just ready to work. But speaking of working, we got another working man coming up in here.
Make a clap to this.
Big Will, what it do?
What's up?
How you doing, boys?
What's good?
No, as I say, food arrived. I wasn't sure what the plan was for tonight, so I was like, I see the boys are rolling. I'm gonna start on the chat, and then you threatened to drop the link. You know the Saltire vampires always hanging around, ready to jump in. So it's good with y'all boys.
What's up?
Man, we good, man. So with everything that you've heard from the show, because we saw when you popped in and whatnot, what's your part of the show that you like to speak on, and what you got a little concerned about coming up this season or whatnot? Because we got Ulbrich that we talked about, Tua's talking about why he was here. JPJ's working out again, and then everything that we've just been talking about.
Mm-hmm. For me, I feel like I would go back to some of the points that I've been making about tempering expectations. We need to realise that for as talented as some of these guys are, this is still a process and not a finished product. But with that being said, I said earlier on in the chat about how stout our offensive line unit is as a whole. Your backups would still be a solid offensive line anywhere in the league. 3 Big Ten guys, 2 of whom on tackle, as you know, and we were talking about with Nelson and Malman. They've played together for years at Wisconsin. And then if you take the group that I gave you there, that's 3 guys from the Big Ten and 2 from the SEC. So, I mean, even our backups, offensive line-wise, are stout. So I know that one of the biggest complaints going into last season was the fact that we lacked depth. So, yeah, I mean, I hear it's something you hear a lot in different outlets out there about raising the floor. But I feel like truly it's something that we've done, especially in the trenches, which obviously when you've got 2 quarterbacks who are historically injury prone, you want to build the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that I'm glad of that. And yeah, the only other thing I would say, obviously from what you boys have said, is in regard to the defense and obviously where we go, obviously in the future going forward, because I think it's clear that Jeff Ulbrich is going to be a head coach somewhere. A coordinator that good is not going to be a coordinator for long. And as I say, I think either guy would be sound, but if it's not Nate Ollie as his replacement, then I would be looking at Barrett Rood to take on that job. Either way, I think you get a stout defensive mind, and I feel like those are the 2 guys that I would kind of go with. But yeah, shout out to you boys again, because I know your boys are always on here working hard. So great show as always. I'm just glad to jump on at the end and give you guys macking takes.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's something that I forgot to bring up, and it's a topic y'all in here. Y'all can talk about it. So Dan Graziano has talked about future trades, and it's been a lot of noise. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's a lot of noise. Man, think about this. When there's smoke, there's generally a fire somewhere. Kyle Pitts possibly could go to Baltimore. Just saying, it's not happening, but it's a trade possibility that the Baltimore Ravens reach out. Dan Graziano spoke on it. It's not just trade bait, folks. This is actually for real. And Pitts could be part of that plan. And here's the thing. If Baltimore wants to get Kyle Pitts, best believe Ian is getting ready to finesse them out of something. It's coming. Yeah. If Kyle is not re-signed to an extension, Baltimore is a trade partner, and you got to remember, he's in a whole different conference. Lamar Jackson does not have a tight end right now because Isaiah Likely is no longer there. He is with the New York Giants now. So he doesn't really have consistent weapons at that wide receiver spot. And this right here has come out from Dan Graziano, and I'll go ahead and read a little bit of this. He says Pitts can be part of the plan too, but he's scheduled to play on a $15 million franchise tag if an extension isn't done before July the 15th. He's coming off an 88 catch, 929 yard, 5 touchdown season, but the four previous campaigns were spotted with inconsistent health and production. Pitts has failed to live up to the expectations in Atlanta, but he has lacked the top-end quarterback play throughout his career. Perhaps a change of scenery could revitalize his career. Graziano also argued that teams could start pursuing Pitts, a Pitts trade if Atlanta's new regime does not extend him quickly. So now that you're hearing that from a legit source, it's not just being funny. How do you guys feel about Dan Graziano at this point, speaking on that?
Well, I mean, I feel like he's going to be on the market. Like, I feel like they want to see. I feel like our organization wants to see what they have in Pitts, not just the last regime, but this new regime. But I feel like if they were going to move Pitts or do anything with, they could have done it already. They want to see what they have in this guy. I mean, you had all the opportunity to get rid of this guy. So, I mean, they can keep on Graziano, Ozziano, all these different people can try to continue to keep moving Pitts. Why do these people want Pitts? So why do they want him? Because he got talent. So what's the point? That'll be, as soon as we trade him, they'll be like, Atlanta did some stupid stuff and got rid of Pitts. So it's like, it's you dang if you do, you dang if you don't. I believe this organization wants to see what they got in Pitts, and they're going to give him an opportunity. I don't know if they're going to pay him long term, but he will definitely get that 15 million, 16 million that he's guaranteed. And then we'll go into the next season and see if they want to keep him long term or if they want to move on and try to see if they can get something out of him. But that's just what I believe.
So here's the thing before I let you guys cook on this. When you talk about Graziano, you talk about Adam Schefter and all these guys that are here, and they're talking about the fact that these teams are interested. It's not just the talent as well. They're also looking at the fact that he's still on a rookie deal right now. He hasn't signed anything. He's on that cheap market where if he does get traded, because you said that they could have moved on from him. Some teams wait to the last minute to do it. And we all have seen this, and they'll wait to try to get something and finesse and steal. One thing about Ian Cunningham, and you go back to his Baltimore days, you go to his Philly days when he was in those organizations will wait to the last minute and slide somebody out. Because think about it, Philly just signed A.J. Brown to a massive contract.
Yeah.
And it hadn't even been 3 years. And they've already slid him out of the door to New England for a whole nice haul. And if he
griped about wanting to be out there.
It's not even that, because he was a third of their offense. Regardless if he was griping, he was still employed. And
no,
Philly,
I understand that, but he voiced his opinion that he wanted out of Philly. That's what I'm trying to get.
And again, you heard Pitts in the damn interview say, "Oh, I just work here." He
never said I want to be gone. He never said I want to be gone.
But no, he didn't say he wanted to be gone. But if you sitting here saying, "Oh, I just work here," like, come on, what do you take that as, bro?
Yeah,
Let's be real.
like,
what do you take that as when somebody is like, "Oh, I just work here"?
Yeah, that's basically he's trying to say, like, I don't really care what's going on.
He was speaking in code. A.J. Brown flat out just said, hell. And here's the problem with A.J. Brown. Yes, he's married. It's a whole mess of things. That's the reason. It was a mess of things between him and Hassan Reddick. That was why he ended up getting moved to New England. They were going to keep their pass rusher over him. And it was lucky that they was able to draft a Mekhi Lemon. But in this situation, when you have a guy, and this, like I said, Raheem Morris's first year was the year that he said, I just work here. That was when that comment was made. And everybody remembered that because we even did a show about that. So I'm just saying at this point, yes, we want him here, but 9 times out of 10, Ian is about picks, money, and really having a loaded squad. And he came from places that don't mind trading away superstars. And we've seen that. So he's going to bring that here to Atlanta. Pretty much like Trae Young got traded away by Onsi with the Hawks. Don't think that Ian is not above doing that either, because we've seen superstars get traded from Philly, from Baltimore, and both of those regimes that he's worked in, and even in Chicago.
No, I mean, anybody can get traded. I'm just saying, anybody can get traded. Anybody can get traded up out here. I'm just not saying that. I'm just saying I feel like if he's gonna get traded, they would trade it. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying he can't get traded in the future. I mean, he can't.
I get what you're saying about, like, right now. He might not be traded right now.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I think they can. I just feel like we want to see what they can get out of him, because Stefanski's offense is very tight end friendly. So he may have his best season in his career here, even better than the year he had with Matt Ryan. So they don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
we got 4 tight ends in that room. That's the crazy part. 4 and 5 tight ends in that room right now. Somebody not making it.
I think we keeping 3 tight ends. But like I said, I agree with K-Dub. I think Steven Sarkisian, they're gonna use Kyle Pitts more in the offense. Like, we ain't seen Kyle Pitts in his rookie year since 2021. So I feel like we can trade Kyle Pitts like around mid-season, around trade deadline. That is like, if we locked up our playoffs early around November, Kyle Pitts ain't going no way. If I'm saying we, like, at least say like we 8-3, 8-4, I can see Kyle Pitts staying with us. But like, if we have like a bad season, like say like we 6-5 or 7-8, I can see Kyle Pitts probably one out and go with a contender. But if we go off a hot run early, Kyle Pitts ain't going no way. And he get that ball, and he productive, and he blocking, doing all he can do to help us win games. Kyle Pitts ain't going no way. You gotta think about it.
Really question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Will the thrill. I got two Wills on here. We got
Will the thrill.
we got
Will,
Pink
Will,
Slip
Will.
and we got Thrill. I'm calling you Thrill, bro. I'm calling you
Yo,
Thrill.
boys, just get out there and tell your parents, like, the next generation, skip the W section of the dictionary.
Yeah.
We got enough of us out here.
Hey,
There's enough willpower.
okay,
Go
no. This
ahead.
how we gonna do this so the fans can tell apart or whatnot. We gonna do this here. We got Pink Slip over here, and we got I can't call you the Thrill because I know that's your nickname. Calling you Thriller because you come in here like a vampire creeping at night like in a Michael Jackson video. So we got Thriller up in here. Yes, sir. So we got
Pink
Thriller
Slip and
and
the
we
Thriller.
got Pink Slip.
Well, I would say it's close to midnight, brother, but it's 2 a.m. now, so I can't. But no, it depends how you slice it. I'll tell you what I know right now.
Yeah.
And that's we've done everything we can to build the best offense for Kyle Pitts. We have given him a head coach now in Stefanski who knows what to do with tight ends, but obviously we've seen what he did with David Njoku over in Cleveland. You add into the mix that we've got Bill Callahan as well. Now, we know how Kyle Pitts is as a receiver. He's Calvin Johnson. He is a freak of nature, unicorn, all that good stuff. 6'6", 248, 448 speed. Just phenomenal. Everything you want, except the weak point in his game for me is blocking. So you throw him in for just a little bit of time. No, okay, we know you can catch the ball. We know you're a threat. Now go work with Coach Callahan for a bit. Shore up the blocking. Let's see what we can put together here. In addition to that, add into the fact that I seen a comment earlier saying that I'm the BirdCage Ocho, so I guess you can call me Ocho Cuatro tonight. But yeah, if we're going to bring Roddy White back, that kind of turns me on to point, because why not bring back a Tony Gonzalez, the greatest tight end to ever do it, and have him work with KP for the day and really kind of throw what he's got into the mix. If you're all about this new top-down mentorship mentality and making these players the best that they can possibly be, we are already going down that road for me with Kyle Pitts. Also, personally, I'm not the biggest lover of a tag and trade, but I understand that obviously he's in contract year anyway, so it's an observation period. We do have the option to replace him because we have Austin Hooper, who's a serviceable backup until 2027. And we've spoken before, Ryan, about how stacked the 2027 draft class is at tight end.
Exactly.
So that's the facts such as they are. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the draft developed retain sort of ethos that Ian Cunningham was breaking down leads me to believe that he would want to retain Kyle Pitts. But with that being said, Pitts isn't a Cunningham guy. And as you said before, he's come from franchises that don't have any problem in getting a star out to bring some good picks back. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I have reservations at the bar, but I'm not ready to go order a drink just yet. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Man, Will. So if y'all look at this, y'all see who's in y'all. I put this slide back up. I had this as a pick last week. I put this slide up for y'all. Drake has already got his money.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Drake, look, I'm gonna show you this. Drake is already counting his money right now, as you can see, by the vault.
Drake.
And now you see Bijan Robinson sitting right at this table right now. So this is what I'm gonna throw out here to you guys. Even if Pitts is here, you still gotta pay this man right here.
Oh yeah,
Bijan. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Ian doing whatever he can after that.
I'm gonna put people's feet to the fire. So, and a lot of y'all not gonna like this, but you know what? It's okay. It's just hypothetical. So don't think that this is all real, but it's a possibility. If you have to have a choice, where Ian has to have a choice because he's gonna have to pay some defensive players next year too. That's what else y'all forget about.
Oh, yeah.
If you have a chance to bring back Bijan Robinson at this point, good sirs, and you still got to pay Kyle Pitts, and it means you got to pick between the two to pay and then retain the rest of this roster, who you gonna take?
Oh, Bijan.
Oh man, come on, you already know what we're
Yeah,
gonna
That's
take.
not
Bijan.
even a question.
Y'all in the chat.
You know
I'm
they gonna
asking
take
the
the
chat
point.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I'm asking the chat too, because a lot of folks really aren't thinking about the fact that we still got other players we got to pay next year too. It's not
yeah.
just Bijan and Pitts. You still got some defensive players you got to touch on with their money.
Oh yeah.
So
Xavier
that's what
Xavier
I'm
Watson,
saying,
no?
necessity wise, because we got a loaded tight end room. Josh Simon hadn't even touched the field yet. And I believe he's going to touch the field because they've already talked about him. Now, even if Kyle does stay for this year, are you going to pay him next year? Because you got to take care of Bijan at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. We're with you on after this year, but we just saying this year we're gonna keep him. I don't see them paying everybody. So if you had the choice, I would pay VR7 experience first before I pay a Pitts. But that I mean, we gotta wait till we get to that road. But right now, if you ask me, if it was a either or, I'm gonna take VR7. But we're gonna say after this season, but we're gonna see what they're gonna do after this season. But if it came down to which one will we pay on the offense, I'm gonna take Mr. Bijan Robinson all day and not even look back and think twice about it.
And that's the reason I asked that question, because it sucks, because now it's kind of like you got to pick and choose. Will was talking about parents or whatnot. Chill. Well, Quavo called him Chill Will. I call him Thriller. He got many names. He cooler than the other side of the fan in a hot summer day, my man. So, and Will just said this. It's like parents. You got to figure out what you're going to choose at this point. And right now, with the way that this offense is run, yes, it's tight end friendly, but y'all got to understand this. It's also a running offense.
Yes.
You are not going to give up the best running back in the NFL. I stand on it. Saquon is still Saquon. To me, I feel like this. Saquon is here. Bijan is getting ready to come up at that level with Saquon, because Saquon's been doing it for a long time. And then you got the kid that's in Indianapolis that you can't take out of the fold.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. He's just as nasty.
Yeah. We played against Indy. He gave us fits.
So just think about that. And then you got Christian McCaffrey, who's got his money. So when you really look at all the stuff that they got right now, all I can say is this is getting ready to be one of the nastiest things with this is going to be one of the nastiest things with having a talent like that at running back in this backfield. And you're going to have him long term.
Yeah. Yeah, I unfortunately, I'm gonna say this: when Bijan gets touches and he keep us, we blow team. I'm not saying blow teams. Like when he gets touchdowns, let that man get some rest. You know what I'm saying? We up by a couple points. Put your back in the other Robinson in, because he's a good running back we picked up too. So we gotta have our first two punch, like Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman.
And I'm praying that Curtis Allen makes the team. Curtis Allen's in the practice facility from Virginia Union.
Let's go.
We talked about
run it.
Yes, sir.
Because here's the thing. We all talked about the whole thing or whatnot when it came to players that was top notch. It's no way in hell that you let a guy that wins the Harlan Hill Award just fall to the wayside. If we don't do it, somebody gonna give him a shot. And my thing is, I would rather have him here, just in case anything, knock on wood, if anything happens and somebody goes down. I pray that it don't happen. I hope we have health all throughout the season where it's not, they're going to get banged up. It's just what it is. But no season-ending injuries.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to have nicks and dings and stuff like that throughout the season. But just like I said last year, we have to stay healthy from top to bottom to make any kind of ring. You have to have that. That's what you got to have to go get a ring, is have luck on your side.
I feel like we need to also make the right decisions roster-wise, because one that, I don't know if you guys heard me say it or it was before I was talking with you boys, but I'll say it again. We made a mistake leaving Nick Nash down in the practice squad to get sniped by Washington. Bro was a Triple Crown winner at San Jose State.
Yeah.
So,
he could have done some damage, and now we are sitting here on the cusp of like meaningful snaps here going into the season. And we could have used them, because I'm sitting here thinking if there's one position group that still gives me a little bit of concern, I mean, looking around, I think we've got somewhere in the region of $21 million right now.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be against bringing in one more pass catcher. I don't know how y'all boys feel about that, but I wouldn't be
Yeah.
against it. Just
We
to
actually
throw
Well,
it
we
in
got
did.
there.
we got we got a bunch of
We got
receivers
a bunch of receivers.
at camp right now,
Nah,
so you
It's
just got to
and
see what
Yeah.
emerges from that.
the
that's from
kid
Josh
from
Dotson.
Wisconsin. The kid from Wisconsin is going to be a guy that you got to look at because I'm drawing a blank on his name. When you look at the fact that yes, he's a return guy and a specialist, but the one thing that he can do, he can also run great routes and catch passes. And I can't, Luke Fickle is just in a world of trouble up there at Wisconsin right now. He's in a world of trouble because Wisconsin has fallen off badly. We
Yeah.
remember when Wisconsin actually was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Ron Dane, freaking what's your boy's name that played for the Denver Broncos? Melvin Gordon, and all them guys. Like, real talk. You really see that they falling off, but they're still producing offensive linemen because we got two of them. They produce running backs. Hell, they've had 2 Heisman Trophy winners out of that school. So I look at Wisconsin as a place that, to me, I feel like that's a quiet plum to pick up in the Northeast. That's just me. And for us to we got 3 Wisconsin players on this roster right now. I'm fine with that because I know that they can play in cold weather. I know that they're mentally tough, and I know that they're physically tough because Fickle is a tough, hard-nosed coach.
Yeah.
Well, it's to your credit. It
Figure it
shows
out right
you-
now, but nah, them boys tough.
And it shows your commitment to the game as well, because as a scout, you know what regions you're looking at for what positional groups, and that's another level. As I say, it's what really separates when you're talking about scouts, is what separates the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And shout out to Atlanta Falcons Fandemic. We're going to be getting into some stuff real soon, so you can look forward to that, cowboy.
Hey, tell Fandemic we not getting used to having hurricanes up here now. Telling you that now. We done started we done started drafting dogs up here. Don't start that mess. I'm just joking. I'm just joking with the track record that Miami got. Hey, look, with the track record that Miami has with Hall of Famers and just some of the greatest players to ever play this game, I'll take anything that come out of there. I laugh and joke about it, but I damn sure take anything that come out of Miami. I'll tell you the truth. One of my favorite players that played at Miami, I got a few. Chuck Foreman is one, and he was a hell of a running back. That's, if you ever get to see, it's a pirouette that he does where he would run and spin on you. He was Bijan that day. The first 1,000, first cat, like he literally was Bijan that day, and he was nasty with it. And Dick LeBeau talked about him. Dick Geron, they all were like, it was tough to deal with that because not only could he run, he could catch out of the backfield. Yeah. So it's many guys that were doing what Bijan was doing. They just didn't get the credit for it, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, and I want to. I'm gonna see this year, man. Y'all, I just want to see consistent on offense. Like basically, what I want to see better is more executing, man. Like pushing the ball on third down, key situations on 3rd and 1, man. We should be running out route, gassing teams out, closing games out. 'Cause I believe with the quarterback we have with Tua and Kevin Skarskisi, bro, we could be a top 10 offense, bro. And like you said, the main thing is executing, game planning, and being healthy and having dealt. Because I want to see what our linebacker do outside of Diablo. I know we do pick some dude up in free agency named Harris or something like that.
Yeah,
we got to be better. We got to be better in Christian Harris. We got to be better in tackling and coverage. And, getting more turnovers and getting balls back to our offense.
And pray that JD Bertrand does not make this team. So we
I
don't
think
see
he
these
could.
Rudy Fruits out here. Can't hold water. Can't hold water.
Don't speak that evil. Please don't speak that evil.
Hey, I believe it too. And I believe
he out there with a training camp helmet on.
Yeah.
So everybody out here get CTE. You need to get some CTE.
You know what?
You're going to jinx it. He's going to go out west now to like LA and win a ring just to spite us. I don't want that energy in my life. I rebuke it. I'm sorry.
No, thank you. So since I mentioned it, I said it a little while ago because we talked about Bijan and whatnot. This was the Bijan of that day. This
Chuck
is
Foreman annually
Ready,
approached
ready.
the same output as both a runner and receiver. Foreman's graceful pirouettes transformed a stodgy, predictable Vikings attack into one of the league's flashiest, and his all-purpose skills led them to 3 Super Bowl appearances during the 1970s.
I remember he did a lot of twisting. He'd do those full turns on a dime and come back. He'd go to make a cut. Instead of a direct cut, he might spin all the way around.
Ooh, nasty with it.
Foreman also turned the heads of his coaches, who
He hold that
seized the
ball out there, though.
opportunity to add a new wrinkle to NFL
And after the
offenses.
Super Bowl, he
I
did it
think
again.
Chuck Foreman was responsible
Remember,
for
bring the
changing
ankle
the
sleeves,
concept of
boys.
football. I think a lot of people realize because of a back like Chuck Foreman that you can build an offense on these dump balls.
Chuck Foreman annually approached the
So, and y'all can
That's a
see,
bad man.
that was the legendary Chuck Foreman. That was who I compared Bijan to. He was the Bijan of that day. And shout out to Fandemic. I had
He look like a Bijan, man. I'm serious. He look like Bijan.
about it. In open field, he was one of the hardest to stop. Real talk. He was one of the hardest to stop. And that's before Miami became one of the best to ever do it. He came before O.J. Anderson did. So when you look at, I tell people all the time, I look at Miami and I look at the lineage of running backs that they've had to come through there. I'm going to be honest with you, K-Dub. They just don't have a Heisman Trophy win at that spot, but they got depth at that spot like we do.
I got you.
And when you see a guy like that during that period where it was all about running the ball, they were using him also in the passing game too. So he was one of the first to have over 2,000 yards, all-purpose yards or whatnot. You get what I'm saying? And,
I got you.
and then Roger Craig evolved the position, and you had Lionel Train James to evolve the position. So when you look at Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas, LaDainian Tomlinson getting up to hell, Michael Turner and all these other guys, Ward Duns that we've had, you really see the evolution of backs. And when you see, think about this, him and me and Thriller's idol, Walter Payton, that's our guy. They used to have duels back in the day. Like literally. The game that Walter was the sickest was the game him and Chuck Foreman just went back and forth, and Walter set the game record of 275, which was a then record in the game. But when you look at that, Bijan brings that type of element to this team because let's be real, before he got there, they did get to 1 Super Bowl, but they lost. They lost all the other 3 that he was in, but their offense was so hard to stop with him because he was unpredictable, just like Bijan.
You like you said, Ryan. I ain't mean to cut you off, man. I believe Bijan Robinson could be the MVP for us to get to a Super Bowl. Like you say, we stay healthy. We shock a lot of teams, and we win our games early. Get that little clinch of division, and everything else will play off. I believe it. I believe Bijan Robinson could be.
He got all the qualities. He got all the qualities of being an MVP. Just speaks the right way, acts the right way, plays it the right way. Just barring injuries, I can really see that. Will that was a good assessment of Bijan. I really could see a MVP out of it.
It's just
and even a Super Bowl MVP because if you look at it, boys,
you always do.
Yeah, and if you look at it, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, it's a running back. And it is one that you didn't mention, Ryan, but another guy who I feel like, although he's left from Seattle to KC now, I feel like he deserves these flowers too, is Kenneth Walker. That dude's a stud.
I like Kenneth Walker in college.
We like him.
Shout out to Michigan State. Yeah, man. He was dynamite runner.
He made me watch Michigan State. I don't even like Michigan State. I was watching because they had Kenneth Walker.
But you know what's scary about that, though, when you spit there and mention him going to Kansas City at this point? Now that takes a lot of pressure off Mahomes, having a guy that isn't injury prone like that, and he's consistent. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint of we really got a top-notch back in our backfield. We got to protect him and keep him healthy because his running style literally is like a deer running through a minefield. I tell people that all the time because the cuts that he makes, somebody might not touch him. But I pray for him every Sunday because we already know that you're not supposed to be that big, that fast, and moving like that. Physically, your body.
Oh, you say, so you think he may get a? You think he may get like a
non-contact?
non-contact
That's
injury?
what I pray.
Yeah,
that
that's
does
the
not
worst
happen.
ones. That's the worst one.
Because remember, we lost Jamal Anderson to a non-contact injury, and that pretty much changed his whole career.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like y'all been when y'all fellas saying, man, the sky's the limits for this team. We ain't been in the playoffs for 9 years. I'm praying that we could win the division because they already said we could win it. It says it's out of us or the Saints. And I'm like, people sleeping on the Saints. They got better this offseason. I'm not gonna lie with Travis
Saints
LC.
got better now.
Yeah, they got better.
Yeah.
They ain't even any defense. They got more depth on the defensive line, the corners, and the young safeties. So we gotta have our A game this season, y'all.
The most
Jordan Tyson ain't no slouch either.
Got better.
The Saints is the team I'm scared of, and I
too.
I don't ever say the word afraid, but the team that I'm most afraid of, it ain't the Saints, it ain't the Bucks, it's right in Carolina.
Because how old Busy got good?
Like just think about it. You sitting back here thinking about this right now. Let's be honest. Carolina finally built that offensive line now. They brought in players for Bryce Young. So it's gonna be hard to touch him. He already got weapons. And then you gave him all his receivers are over 6 feet tall. All his receivers, big receivers that can run routes and they're fast. He still got Chuba Hubbard in that backfield. So again, when you really look at that team, they already got a defense. We know that first. They got a defense.
Yeah. And they added Modell.
And now you're giving him an offensive line finally. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. I
agree.
agree.
I hear you saying you're not worried about Carolina, but we haven't beat Bryce Young yet.
And
when we lost to him, they were bad.
You're
saying that, but here's the other thing, Fandemic. They also can run up the gut, and that's something that we have yet to figure out how to stop.
Yeah,
so you don't worry about it, but guess what? They got a running back that can grind it out right up the middle. Pretty much, let's put it this way. Chuba Hubbard is pretty much grinding that thing out like at a 90s party, slow jam back in house party, where everybody slow grinding at the party.
Yeah.
Like
slow grinding at R. Kelly at the end of the party.
Hey, K-Dub, they got him holding up like this. Hey, how you say? You make a fucking want to sing.
I will say one thing, and I know a lot of people make the joke that you always bring it back to receiver, Will, because that's where I played. So I'm mainly looking at receivers. But look at Carolina's draft. Tell me, Perrin, Ted McMillan with Chris Brazil is not going to be nasty. This secondary needs to turn up every single down.
Yeah, Ted was giving us the business last year, man. We got to gear up for this guy, man.
Fandemic. Here's the thing: we had a top defense last year with Jeff Ulbrich, and they still put their foot in the ass. So regardless of what you're saying, I need you to go back and look at what our defense could not stop. Bryce Young had over 200 yards against us both times. Please look at that.
He was airing us out in the secondary.
Every time that we've played Carolina, we've lost to him since he's been a starter.
Yeah. So, you know what kept him, I ain't mean to cut you off, right? You know what kept him on his feet? He had his offensive line blocking. It don't matter what we did. We was trying to bring safety trying to blitz it. The offensive line was holding Bryce Young for a good minute.
I'll just say this. Look, I believe that we're going to be okay this year, but that's the team in the division I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Tampa's got Zach Robinson. So I'm not worried about Tampa because Baker's got to be the quarterback on that field, and he's going to have to be a rebel. But again, I still think the most dangerous receiver in this conference. Now, you just talked about Brazil going to Carolina being fast and doing his thing.
Yeah.
Ted Hurst. Ted Hurst is going to be the one that's going to hurt a lot of feelings in this division. Now, Emeka Ibuka has somebody on the other side who can play, and that's dangerous. So if they ever get a better offensive coordinator in there with Hurst, Emeka Ibuka, Bucky Irvin in that backfield, that's dangerous. But because they have a deficient, because they got Zach Robinson being deficient as he is, I'm fine with it. But fellas, It's been an amazing show. Had fun with y'all boys. Mr. Thriller, Chill Will, Thriller, however you want to say it. Y'all call him that. Tell the folks where they can find you at, my man.
I don't mind what you call me. Just once I get to sleep, don't bother calling me at all. As I say, pleasure sharing the floor with you guys as always. I'll take any chance I can going forward to enter the cage. But if you're looking for me, I'm on X and on YouTube on my solo channel at Will the Thrill Waddle. Spelled as you see it there, and taken over from my father. So WAD-L. If you're looking for me, as I say, you'll find Des and I on the Scottish Falcons show. So we'll have our return show on Saturday over at Atlanta Falcons Nation International. And shout out to the First Lady tonight. It's Maggie and her twin sister Marcelle's birthday. So shout out to the girls. In addition to that, as I say, just anything the Birdcage are doing. And shout out to my brother from the chat earlier on, Mad Mike, as well, because the Alliance keep me on my toes as well. So you'll always find me doing something Atlanta sports. I ain't hard to find if you want to keep the conversation going. So I appreciate you guys as always. Rise up, the town down.
Real been
Hey,
it's almost 3 in the morning over there, and he up with us, man. We got
soldier.
I gotta get over there. I gotta get over there across the pond and go see my dog Will, catch him and whatnot. You know when.
We got to get over there, man.
Yeah, September
Look,
the 14th. Yeah, I'm gonna be at Marietta with y'all, and I hope to see you too, K-Dub, man. I'm gonna driving out there 4 hours to see y'all boys.
First off, hold up. It's September the 13th. The 13th.
September the 13th. I'm the 14th. I said, September the 14th.
He said the 14th. Look, if he show up on the 14th, none of us gonna be there.
Yeah. But we gonna see. Hey, look, everybody out there get them tickets, man. You know, hey, look, it's a away game. Y'all gonna be hyped for game 1, week 1. So come out there to the David Buster. Check us out.
Hey, K-Dub, you know what we gonna do? We'll catch you. We'll catch you on the flip side, my boy. But K-Dub, we gonna do this right here. We ain't gonna tell them about it. We just gonna let them see about it, and then we gonna wrap this thing up. So y'all sit back and relax. We got you covered. We'll be right back. The BirdCage LLC looks to do it again. We got the Falcons Steelers watch party September the 13th, 2026. What location do you say? At Dave & Buster's in Marietta, Georgia.
Now hand me about 4 or 5 little biscuits. I sure am hungry.
On the game day menu, there will be sliders, wings, fries, bottomless non-alcoholic drinks, but we also have a cash bar for those who want to get their drink on, and also we have a full-fledged menu with waiters and waitresses that are going to take your orders. Also, we have on the 1s and 2s DJ Swats in the building. We're going to have former ball players to come through to the party. Your ticket also registers you for a raffle giveaway. Hey, we got to hit this thing hard like we hit the Saints. Make sure you get your tickets. You don't want to miss. You know how we get down.
You either get right or you get left. Go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely appreciate you guys for tapping in. K-Dub, thank you for tapping in, my guy. As always, holding it down. Hey, and for the chat, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We definitely appreciate you. We love you. Hey, y'all stay safe out there. Get ready. Get hydrated now, so you don't have to worry about passing the hell out when you guys go to training camp. So, man, y'all enjoy. Catch us at Dave & Buster's September the 13th. We pretty much are taking Cash App and Zelle. That is how we're taking payments. No cash will be accepted at the door. So if you got other ways that you need to pay, hit us up 404-585-1445, or you can hit up the BirdCage LLC at gmail.com. So for your boy the historian, thanks to Will, K-Dub, and also Pink Slip Will as well. We'll catch you next time. It's the BirdCage. We out. Ghosts.